Tonight, the battle to host a new global defense bank.
We want to build the future of defense. We have the defense industry right now.
All the big cities want it, and the mayors of Montreal and Toronto have the backing of their premiers. But why many here say the capital should be the natural choice. New evidence admitted in the impaired driving trial of an Ottawa councillor, now released to the media.
I am a local politician who's running for federal office, so you can think whatever you want. Not going to be good for me.
The video shows Matthew Luloff providing a breath sample at the police station the night of his arrest. And the councillor for College Ward joining the chorus to save programs at this college.
This is a citywide issue, what's happening right now. And so I felt it was imperative for the city to have a plan and to have a response.
More concern about the potential impact of planned cuts on both students and the local economy, and an ask for the province to intervene. Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news. Federal public servants will soon have to spend more time in the office. The government is changing the hybrid work rules, expanding its return to office mandate. CTV's Kimberly Fowler joins us now with the latest. Kimberly.
Well, Patricia, letters were sent out to workers in core federal departments today informing them of the changes. So starting on May 4th, executives will have to be in the office 5 days a week. That's up from the current 4. And starting on July 6th, all other employees will be required on site for a minimum of 4 days a week. That's up from 3. Now, this was something the Prime Minister hinted could be coming late last year. The Treasury Board says working together on site is essential for strong teams and collaboration, which it says it's needed during this pivotal moment as the government works on strengthening the country. The Professional Institute of Public Service of Canada, a union that represents thousands of workers, says that this, on top of the layoffs, is causing a lot of anxiety with the federal public service.
I just find this just insulting and disrespectful to be doing this to public servants after everything we've gone through the past few months. And I don't understand how this mandate is increasing productivity in the public service. I think it's only going to hinder it.
And the union also says it's been kept in the dark when it comes to the government's decisions around remote work. And it adds it doesn't think that there's enough office space to accommodate all employees. Now, the Treasury Board Secretariat says that it will meet with unions to discuss their concerns about assigned seating and health and safety. And Public Services and Procurement Canada says it's also set to work with federal departments to make sure that there is adequate office space for all employees. Patricia.
CTV's Kimberly Fowler live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, Canadian cities are competing to host a proposed international defense bank, a headquarters tied to billions in future security investment. And Mayor Mark Sutcliffe says it should be built right here in the National Capital Region, where there is already a rapidly growing defense sector. CTV's Caitlin Wilson joins us live now with more on this. Caitlin.
Yeah, Patricia, global defense spending is surging, and allies are reorganizing how military technology is funded and developed. And Canada wants in. Now its biggest cities are competing to host a defense bank that could shape its future.
This is at approximately 35,000 kilometers away from the Earth.
Telesat is preparing for its biggest program yet, sending close to 200 satellites into orbit as part of the largest space program in the country.
Whether you're a ship in the middle of the ocean, a plane in the high Arctic, or a base here in Ottawa, all that connectivity needs to come back and be able to speak to each other, and that's what we're going to enable.
And supporters say technology like this is why Ottawa-Gatineau is the best region to host a proposed international defense bank.
We have a very strong defense sector here. We're connected to all of the embassies from around the world. This is going to be an international institution. All of the foreign missions are here in Ottawa.
But Ottawa isn't the only city making its case. This week, mayors are in the capital for the Big City Mayors Conference, including Montreal, which is also bidding for the same headquarters.
We're one of the rare places in the world we can actually assemble a plane from A to Z. You know, the position on Ontario saying we want to build the future of defense. We have the defense industry right now. We don't need to build it.
Toronto is in the race too, backed by Ontario's Premier Doug Ford. The proposed bank would help finance defense and security projects among allied countries. If successful, it could bring thousands of jobs.
That would be a big boost for our economy, and it would offset some of the jobs that we might be losing in the federal public service.
At the same time, momentum is building for Ottawa to position itself as the country's defense innovation hub. That effort is anchored by Area XO, a test facility for robotics, drones, and autonomous vehicles.
We harness here combination of strengths that don't exist anywhere else in the country, from our 330 companies that are anchored in defense to the Bank of Canada and all the sovereign financial institutions federally.
But in the end, it won't be the cities that have the final say. That job will go to the federal government to decide which city is best suited to put forward as a bid.
And a decision is expected to be made at some point this year. Patricia?
All right, CTV's Caitlin Wilson live for us tonight. Thank you. Coming up later in the newscast, Ottawa Mayor Mark Sutcliffe will join us for a one-on-one interview to discuss his push to see Ottawa have a chance at hosting the National Defence Bank and other issues, including the return to office for federal public servants and transit. Well, now to the impaired driving trial of Ottawa Councillor Matthew Luloff. We're seeing for the first time tonight video taken inside the police cell block of Luloff providing breath samples after being arrested in July 2024. He's pleaded not guilty to all charges against him. CTV's Katie Griffin is here with more. Katie.
Patricia, the video being made public now because CTV News and other media outlets argued for its release after an initial ruling banning publication.
I'll just get you to sit here.
Ottawa Councillor Matthew Luloff at the Elgin Street Police Station.
I am a local politician who's running for federal office, so you can think whatever you want to say. But this is not going to be good for you.
Big breath in and blow out, like you said.
This video of Luloff providing a breath sample after being arrested in July 2024 for alleged impaired driving was filed as an exhibit in court. It's allowed to be publicized now after CTV News and other media outlets argued it should be released as a matter of public record.
Was there any collision involved in your drive home?
No, literally in my garage, ready to walk into my house. And these guys, came to my house.
Luloff has pleaded not guilty to all charges against him. Audio played in court from a 911 caller reporting a suspected drunk driver was also released.
I was driving behind them and beside them. They almost smashed into me and they were driving on the curb and just swerving everywhere.
The witness following a Jeep from a Wendy's drive-thru to a home.
Some of it starts with, have you been drinking, yes or no?
I'm not answering that question. No. I've been eating Wendy's and trying to go to bed is what I've been doing.
The breath technician tells Luloff he's twice blown double the legal limit and he'll be charged with his license temporarily suspended and vehicle impounded.
So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to take my kids to daycare in the morning. I'm so
Luloff's lawyer wants what his client said to the breath technician in the video and the test results to be thrown out, alleging several breaches of Luloff's charter rights before he even got to the police station.
I think the most important thing is even the breathalyzer technician confirmed in her evidence that but for the test results, she noted no effects of alcohol on Mr. Luloff.
The judge will issue a ruling on the alleged charter breaches and a verdict later this month. Patricia.
CTV's Katie Griffin live for us tonight. Thank you.
Still ahead, putting it in the bank and letting it add up. Why this massive pile of snow has been here all winter long. That story coming up.
And taking a live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam, -9 out there right now. We're getting close to another Winterlude weekend, so what kind of winter do we have coming for us? Colder temperatures, Jackie, and maybe a little bit of snow?
It's a little bit of both, Patricia. I mean, last Friday, it was about -20, -25 if you were doing the kickoff for Winterlude. Tomorrow, daytime high is going to be -5, and the mild temperatures was very similar to what we saw today. So right now, temperatures are sitting around -10, so after the sun setting, of course, -13 in Kingston, about -8, -9 in the valley. And as we look, you did mention snow, Patricia. Yes, it's on its way. It's going to start in the morning in the valley, light flurries moving through. It won't be until the afternoon that we are going to start to see heavier snowfall move in. We are anticipating probably 3 to 5 centimeters, but we'll get a closer look at this as well later on. Right now, we are looking at overnight temperatures sitting around -16 tomorrow. Again, the daytime high sitting at -5. So we're in for one more nice day of weather.
An Ottawa councillor is calling on the provincial government to help stop more planned program cuts at Algonquin College. Lane Johnson writing an open letter warning the move will impact both students and Ottawa's economy. Here's CTV's Leah Larocque.
Working with Interlock.
Cole Martin loves helping things grow, but his horticulture program at Algonquin College is on the brink of suspension.
I want to try and innovate green spaces in cities and making them better.
This month, Algonquin's board of directors will vote on cutting another 30 programs, meaning no more new entries.
Absolutely, this is a citywide issue, what's happening right now.
Ottawa councillor Lane Johnson writing an open letter to the province, saying that cuts will leave a marked vulnerability in our local economy, and says to be competitive, Ottawa needs to have a trained workforce.
Felt it was imperative for the city to have a plan and to have a response. We see a lot of students that come in through many of our programs, so it's going to be felt in a few different places.
Already now, I have a lot of companies that calling me asking for graduates.
The long list of proposed programs to cut includes hospitality, tourism, journalism, paralegal, and culinary arts.
Hopefully just be a chef, hopefully a line cook for a couple years, maybe open a business in the future.
We should never be cutting funding for any post-secondary schooling.
The ministry that represents colleges and universities says that because of the federal government's repeated changes to the international student permits, the post-secondary sector, including Algonquin College, is having to make difficult decisions to ensure their long-term success and sustainability. The province says we are working with our post-secondary partners to modernize their funding model.
I've been signing petitions and talking about it. I'm a class rep as well.
These museum studies students worry about the future and who will fill very important jobs.
It'll probably lead to some holes in museums for sure.
I've loved exhibits since I was young, and I really want young kids to feel as I did.
Leah Larocque, CTV News.
You can scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen to link to us online or visit ctvnewsottawa.ca. We have more details on the planned program cuts at Algonquin College. Well, it was a cold January and you probably cranked up your furnace during the frigid days and nights, but imagine not having power during some of those coldest times. That's what residents in rural Western Quebec have been dealing with as the region experiences ongoing power outages. Residents in the Pontiac region say the outages are happening more frequently than in years past, and they say it cannot go on any longer. CTV's Dylan Dyson is live in studio with more on this. Dylan.
Patricia, it has been a brutal winter across our region. Intense wind and snow and freezing cold temperatures are zapping the Pontiac's outdated power grid. On Alumet Island in the Pontiac, the power could go out at any moment.
Last month it probably went off, 15, 20 times? Nobody knows why.
At Carl's Bakery, one of the latest power outages nearly fried this oven.
It's incredibly frustrating. I lose hours because the power is out. He can't employ me if he has to close for the day. That means he loses his income, I lose my income. We can lose product because of it.
It's a problem that the Pontiac's warden says afflicts the region more than any other in Quebec.
Our infrastructure, our transmission lines are over 100 years old. With the minus 32 weather that we've had recently, it makes the system very fragile.
In a bid to reduce strain on the power grid, Hydro-Quebec has begun calling residents, asking them to reduce usage during peak hours in the morning and evening. Hydro-Quebec says this could include lowering the heating by a few degrees and only heating occupied rooms, and limiting the use of energy-intensive appliances such as the washer, dryer, or dishwasher. Hydro-Quebec also says it has begun controlled rolling blackouts to prevent the grid from exceeding capacity.
They turned off our power for 20 minutes at a time the other day because they wanted people to reduce their usage between 6 and 8 in the morning. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. Between 6 and 8 in the morning, you have children getting up, you're getting yourself ready for work, you have all of your appliances.
As a short-term solution, Hydro-Quebec says it has transferred part of the Pontiac's power supply to a different distribution line with greater capacity. There is a plan to expand and modernize the region's power grid, but that isn't scheduled to begin until 2028.
Basically, it will be from Quebec all the way to almost Pembroke, Calumet Island. They have in their budget $2 billion a year for infrastructure. So we're very happy we're going to have $150 million. We just feel we can't wait until 2028 to begin.
And while the region has been dealing with all of this, Hydro-Quebec also confirms it has suspended 7 employees for committing time theft while on the job and says an investigation into that serious misconduct is ongoing. Patricia.
CTV's Dylan Dyson live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, turning now to a shocking story out of Toronto. 7 of the city's current police officers and 1 retired officer are facing charges in connection with an alleged murder plot and organized crime. CTV's John Musselman has the details.
Cars in front of them just wandering down the middle of the road. Cars coming up behind.
This is police video of just one incident.
Those are our vehicles. Let's take them down right now. Contain.
That highlights the devastating allegations filed against 7 Toronto police officers and 1 retired officer.
Over the grass into a car.
Investigators allege 3 masked men attempted to murder an Ontario corrections manager at his home in York Region in June. The suspects were allegedly leaked personal information by Toronto Police Constable Timothy Barnhart.
We allege that this officer then released the information to a Mr. Brian DaCosta, and from there it was released further into other criminal networks.
The allegations against the Toronto officers include bribery, obstruction of justice, drug trafficking, theft of personal property, breach of trust, and the unauthorized access of confidential information. The information was handed over to organized criminal figures. It led to shootings in the GTA and in southern Ontario. At least 1 shooting is connected to the gun violence plaguing the tow truck industry.
This news is both shocking and completely unacceptable. Corruption has no place in policing.
Toronto Police Chief Myron Demkew calls it a painful moment for the force, and he has asked the Inspector General of Policing to investigate.
This is a painful and unsettling moment. It needs to be addressed openly, and it needs to be addressed honestly. The allegations against 7 Toronto Police members and 1 retired member are deeply disappointing.
Clayton Campbell is the president of the Toronto Police Association.
If proven true, our members do not tolerate this sort of stuff. We are so indebted to the public for trust. If we don't have public trust, we have nothing.
The allegations also include officers accepting bribes to obstruct police action against illegal activity. At least 19 other civilians have been charged in connection with this investigation. Chief Demkew says he is committed to holding the accused officers accountable, and he says the Toronto Police Services Board has not asked for his resignation, considering these findings came under his leadership. More than 400 officers took part in these internal investigations that led to these charges, and police say this investigation is ongoing. John Musselman, CTV News in York Region.
Prime Minister Mark Carney unveiling his government's new national automotive strategy today, which includes some major changes, such as ending the electric vehicle mandate, but also bringing back EV rebates.
The future of the auto industry is increasingly electric and connected. And so to remain competitive and to realize our potential, we must develop the entire value chain for next generation vehicles, harnessing Canada's exceptional capabilities in auto production.
The rebates will be available starting February 16th. The government will offer up to $5,000 for new EVs and up to $2,500 for plug-in hybrids. The EV mandate introduced by the Trudeau government will be replaced with a new emissions standard. An elderly man was injured when his vehicle crashed into a retaining wall at the Ottawa Hospital Riverside campus. Emergency crews were called to the hospital on Riverside Drive around 7:35 this morning. The vehicle struck a retaining wall in the parking lot. Paramedics treated the driver at the scene. He was brought to hospital in stable condition. There was no impact to operations at the Riverside campus. A G2 driver won't be on the road for a while after getting stopped for stunt driving. Ottawa police officers caught the driver going 165 kilometers an hour on Highway 174 near 10th Line Road yesterday morning. The speed limit there is 100. And a Kingston driver is facing charges after getting stopped going more than double the speed limit. The driver was caught in the area of John Counter Boulevard and Sir John A. Macdonald Boulevard last night. Police say the driver was going 128 kilometers an hour in a 50. The 53-year-old driver was charged and the vehicle was impounded.
It is getting to a dire situation. We have a huge waiting list of patients who do not have access to primary care.
Well, just ahead, the family doctor shortage hitting one Eastern Ontario community hard, with more than half of the residents there without a family physician. Jackie.
Thanks so much, Patricia. There is a slim chance we could see some flurries moving in just after midnight, but it is tomorrow afternoon and into the evening that we could see anticipated 3 to 5 centimeters of snow. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. No snow in sight or flurries, but it is a beautiful view of downtown Ottawa along Wellington as well as Elgin Street, where the lights are lit up to let you know Winterlude is here.
Today's snow report brought to you by Mont Cascade, only 20 minutes from Ottawa.
And here is today's snow report at Mont Cascade. 4 of 6 lifts are open, 20 of 21 runs are available. And elsewhere at Calabogie Peaks, all 3 lifts are open, 23 runs. At Borlage, 4 of 4 lifts and 18 of 20 runs. Camp Fortune, 5 of 7 lifts, 22 runs, open, ready to go. And over at Edelweiss, 2 of 5 lifts and 18 runs.
At Mont Cascade, we continue to improve your experience. Latest technology snow guns and our RFID direct-to-lift system are new this year. Come and join us.
Well, a massive snowbank has been building up all winter, and some people are having to climb over it to catch their bus. This is all because a sidewalk is closed, many choosing to take a multi-use pathway instead, but it doesn't get plowed. The footpath is located along the Kitchie-Zibi-Macon Parkway, and without the sidewalk, people are using that to get to Lincoln Fields Transit Station. CTV's Tyler Fleming reports.
Lately, boarding a bus at Lincoln Fields Station comes with a side of mountaineering.
It's a bit of a mess.
Carling Avenue's north sidewalk is closed because of Stage 2 LRT construction, leaving transit riders with 2 options: crossing the road and taking the long way, or follow the frosty foot trail alongside the Kitchie-Zibi-Macon Parkway off-ramp. To give you an idea of what it takes to actually get onto this path from Carling Avenue, well, take a look at this. There's a traffic yield sign. I am towering over it.
Underneath that path is a beautiful paved surface.
It gets plowed by people's feet, by walking, but not by the city.
But a small section of the path has been cleared at the crosswalk.
It seems weird that they would just plow this one little spot, but, you know.
It's this random mindset here that says we do a little bit here and a little bit there, and we're supposed to be happy.
Beyond the bus stop, this trail heads down a rabbit hole of peak Ottawa bureaucracy.
And why? Because the path belongs to the NCC, and they never plow, but it's going to our transit station, so we have to work with them and get it done. So it's past the buck, and it goes back to the city. Then the city tells me that it's Stage 2's responsibility.
Ottawa Councillor Teresa Kavanagh says it's been an uphill battle to have the snowbanks removed.
This is ridiculous. In terms of accessibility, it's absolutely hopeless.
But by late Thursday, crews had finally cleared a path. A solution that seemed obvious for many.
When you see a well-treaded path, you know that it is being used by people. So have a plow it.
Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
Well, maybe a good thing that that path was cleared on the snowbank today, because a bit more snow is on the way. Beautiful blue skies in the capital today, but we do have some snow in the forecast for tomorrow, and then that bitter cold expected to return as we take a full look at the weather with Jackie. So milder tomorrow, but then that really cold weather for Winterlude again on the weekend.
Yes, so we're going to take quite the dip. It's going to be a 10-degree difference. So if you are heading out to Winterlude on the Saturday and Sunday, while we will have that sunshine, it will be quite chilly. Now here's the current temperatures right now, -10. We did see a daytime high of -8 degrees. Partly cloudy skies right now if you are out and about. Tonight's lows will go down to about -17 for Ottawa and Cornwall. Brockville Yorkville, Kingston, around -12, -15 degrees. You could already see that there is a little bit of snow that will be moving through Eastern Ontario, particularly in the valley in the overnight hours. It may see a little bit of the flurries for here in Ottawa first thing tomorrow morning. It's in the afternoon, though, that really all of Eastern Ontario will be getting periods of snow moving through, and that will extend closer to midnight. Now, -6 is going to be the daytime high for pretty much most of Eastern Ontario, -4 in Petawawa, -8 in Maniwaki, as well as in Mont-Tremblant. So the warm temperatures really, or the mild temperatures, I should say, really pushed its way towards Atlantic Canada. It's -5 in Halifax, -8 in Fredericton. As we look at Quebec City, it's about -13 degrees. Timmins, though, also warm, -7, as well as Sudbury. As we look to the prairies, they have quite the warm up. It's 4 degrees in Regina and Saskatoon, 5 degrees in Edmonton. We've got Calgary sitting at 12, which is very similar to our friends in Vancouver. I'm taking a look at this 7-day forecast brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in family business. Can't see that tomorrow's daytime high will be about -6. Again, a reminder, we could see between 3 to 5 centimeters of snow moving in Friday afternoon into the early hours of Saturday morning, where, yes, the chances of flurries could linger, but it's really that temperature, that drop in temperature from -6 to -18 overnight. And then we're only getting to a daytime high about -15 for our Saturday. The good news is Sunday, lots of sunshine in store, -16, though, the daytime high. It won't be until next Tuesday, Wednesday, and even Thursday that we will start to see minus single digits in the forecast.
She jumped up and cut me off. She was like, oh my God, this is my song.
Are you ready for an incredible night of music with one of country music's biggest stars? Well, Luke Bryan is bringing his Word on the Street tour to the Canadian Tire Centre on August 27th. And we've got your chance to win tickets. To enter, scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen to head over to ctvottawa.ca. Good luck.
Well, more than half of the population of the small community of Castleman is without a family doctor. The rural municipality is struggling to recruit talent due to a lack of funding incentives. CTV's Natalie Van Roy reports.
At the Castleman Medical Centre, there are 3,000 people on a waiting list for a family doctor.
It is getting to a dire situation. We have a huge waiting list of patients who do not have access to primary care.
Office Administrator Jennifer Arenas has been desperately trying to recruit doctors for years as the situation worsens.
We could easily accommodate another 3 physicians and get these patients being seen.
But one of the major challenges, Castleman doesn't score high enough on something called the Rurality Index for Ontario, which would unlock up to $120,000 in grants for doctors.
It's an incentive for them to go to rural locations. So it helps offset their costs of relocating, it helps offset their costs of education. So it's definitely an incentive to set up a practice.
There are up to 4,000 people in Castleman alone, 30 minutes outside of Ottawa. The mayor says more than half don't have a doctor.
It's very stressful for them, you know, with an aging population that don't necessarily drive, accessing clinicians outside of the community, having to drive on the highway to get to Ottawa, to busy Ottawa locations is very stressful.
Genevieve Lajoie has appealed to the government as the situation continues to worsen.
We've asked for some sort of pilot project or some special subsidy program for Castleman, and the response was the answer is no until it's yes.
Meantime, at the medical center, they are not accepting new patients until they get more doctors, and people on the list will have to wait. Natalie Van Roy, CTV News.
If you're looking at the downtown economy and revitalizing Centertown and the Byward Market, it's good news that there will be more people coming downtown.
Well, just ahead, we speak with Ottawa Mayor Mark Sutcliffe about the return to office mandate that's changing for federal public servants. Prime Minister Mark Carney sat down with mayors from across the country last night, including Ottawa Mayor Mark Sutcliffe, to discuss how the federal government can better support municipalities.
We're just here to emphasize the programs we're putting in place, Canada's new government's putting in place, and how we can work together. Once colleagues leave, we're going to get down to brass tacks in terms of what's working, what's not, how we can hit the ground running.
More than 20 mayors participated in yesterday's discussions. Topics included changes to the criminal code, making bail more strict, building new infrastructure, and Canada's sovereignty, among other things. And joining us now in studio is Ottawa Mayor Mark Sutcliffe. How did that go, first of all?
It was a very good meeting. It was a very candid meeting. We talked about a lot of issues that are important to Ottawa residents, things like housing, public transit, public safety, infrastructure. So it was a very productive meeting. I think the Prime Minister heard our concerns and he took a lot of notes, which I'm encouraged by, and we're ready to work with the Prime Minister and his team on getting things happening faster, including building more homes.
Well, I'm guessing one of the notes was not on public servants because things don't happen that quickly at that level of government, but we are hearing today and led our newscast with the fact that public servants will now have to go back to the office 4 days a week in July. What does that mean for this city?
I think it's good news for downtown businesses. I understand that, you know, I know and I've heard from public servants who don't want to go back to the office, and their unions have spoken on their behalf and said that they should be able to work more often from home. I get that, but if you're looking at the downtown economy and revitalizing Centertown and the Byward Market, it's good news that there will be more people coming downtown. So I'm excited from that perspective, but I understand that not all public servants are going to be happy about it.
Okay. Transit funding. When you talk about more public servants coming downtown and the state of our transit system, what are we hearing from the federal government about changing how much money is available? Are you concerned about the funding that we are owed from the federal government? Where are we at?
I'm a little bit concerned because it feels like the total amount has changed, but I think what we discussed last night is that what's really important is how much money we're going to get sooner rather than later. So there will be, you know, the funding that was announced previously to start in 2026 was to be spread out over 10 years. So there will be many federal budgets that will happen before the final phase of that funding is delivered to municipalities. If a lot of that money can flow early in the next couple of years, then we can do a lot of things with that. So I'm less concerned about the total amount than I am about how quickly we can access some of that funding, and I'm hopeful that Ottawa will get a significant chunk of that money to advance some of our transit priorities.
Okay. Well, we're on transit. We're expecting an update tomorrow. Can you tell us right now when the issues with light rail and Line 1 will be resolved?
It's a challenging thing, and look, there's nothing technically wrong with the trains right now, but we are acting out of an abundance of caution because we are following the recommendations of the public inquiry from a few years ago, and because we, you know, our number one priority is always the safety of our passengers, and we don't want another derailment. So when an issue is identified, we're always going to act with an abundance of caution. And I understand the frustration of our riders, and
maybe at a peak that we haven't seen before, the frustration.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and you know, we've got issues with the buses, and our riders, our passengers deserve better service than they're getting right now. But the team at OC Transpo is doing everything possible to protect their safety, to deal with these issues. We'll get more trains back soon. We'll get more buses on the road soon. We're expecting more buses and more mechanics to arrive soon. And we will get there. And soon we'll be opening, you know, in the coming months, the eastern extension of Line 1. The pieces are coming together for the service to be in a better place in the coming months.
All right, last question for you. We also, with all the mayors in town, had a story on this in the newscast, the Defence Bank and the competition to get that Canadian nomination if Canada is, in fact, going to be the one to host the Defence Bank. Toronto has the backing of the Premier of Ontario. Montreal has the backing of the Premier of Quebec. Does Ottawa stand a chance in this competition?
I think we have a really strong case to make. It'll be a decision of the federal government, and I don't know what factors they will consider. This is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime rare opportunity to host something in our city that could employ 3,000, 3,500 people. In the Toronto scenario or the Montreal scenario, you're choosing one province or the other. With Ottawa-Gatineau, it can be in both Ontario and Quebec. We're the national capital. All the embassies and foreign missions are here. We have a very strong defense sector, so I think we can make a very strong case that the bank should be in Ottawa-Gatineau.
All right. Ottawa Mayor Mark Sutcliffe, thanks for stopping in.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Patricia.
We have extended coverage of the city's call to host the Global Military Bank. There are more stories online at ctvnewsottawa.ca. And just ahead, the plans to build an addition to end as hotel in the Byward Market grow a little taller. February is Heart Month, and supporters of the University of Ottawa Heart Institute are helping light the capital red. Byron Property Rentals says a family emergency opened their eyes to the devastation a stroke can cause. They want to do their part and always support the Ottawa Heart Institute. Well, the opening ceremonies are tomorrow, but there are already some setbacks for members of Team Canada in Milan. Today's women's hockey game was postponed, and some events will go ahead without a star athlete. CTV's Heather Butts has the latest from Italy.
An alarming image of Mark McMorris following a crash yesterday in training. The 32-year-old three-time Olympic medalist confirming he hit his head and will not compete in the big air competition. In a statement, McMorris said, "Fortunately, things are looking good for slopestyle, so I'm staying positive and shifting my focus there." Snowboarder Tess Critchlow has already had to withdraw due to injury, and Canada has had to swap out athletes in men's hockey and figure skating in the team event because of injury.
For those who've been injured and unable to compete, I feel for them first and foremost, and therefore give them as much support to see if they can compete in the case of those where it's questionable.
Facing these early obstacles, there's also questions over how the Olympic team is preparing to handle competing against the Americans at a time of heightened tensions between the countries.
The rivalry with the United States is one that's decades and decades old in sport, and yet I think there's a little bit more riding on it.
That rivalry most anticipated on the ice, where it will be a monumental year for hockey, marking the return of NHL players in the men's tournament for the first time since 2014. Combine that with the first winter game since the Professional Women's Hockey League launched, putting a spotlight on an extraordinary depth of international talent.
This is an immensely talented team, and they're in their final preparations. And very soon, we will see them walking into opening ceremonies to show the world just what Canadian excellence looks like.
While Team Canada battles injuries, Finland is dealing with illness. The two countries were supposed to face off today in women's hockey, but the game was postponed as the Finns battle the norovirus. Team Canada's first game will now be against Switzerland on Saturday. Heather Butts, CTV News, Milan.
And we have a list of all of the Olympians from Ottawa competing in the Milano Cortina Winter Games. You can find that on our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca. Well, now some other stories you need to know right now. The proposed expansion of the Andaz Hotel will be taller than expected. Claridge Homes is planning to build an addition in a vacant lot next to the current hotel on York Street in the Byward Market. Councillors approved the initial plan for a 16-story addition in 2023, but the developer now wants to build 17 stories. It would have a 3-story space at the bottom with a lobby, restaurant, and ballroom, and another 14-story hotel tower. Staff are recommending councillors approve this new plan, but with some conditions, including revising the color of the brick to be more compatible with the Byward Market District. A note to anyone planning on riding the LRT tonight, there are some disruptions along the line. Services only operating on the westbound platforms at Saint Laurent and Searville. Riders there have to change trains at Saint Laurent. This appears to be due to a stop train at Blair Station.
Sliding play, takes it away from Chatfield for a quick second, comes back over to Batherson. Sanderson, a drive, scores! Big power play goal!
The Sens are back on the ice tonight after Tuesday's loss to the Carolina Hurricanes. The team is in Philadelphia facing off against the Flyers, but Linus Ullmark will not be in the net. Suffering from flu-like symptoms, James Reimer will start instead. This is the Sens' final game before the break for the Olympics. Puck drop at 7. You can watch the game on TSN or listen on TSN 1200. Well, just ahead, Amazon set to spend nearly $200 billion on building AI. We'll have the details from the BNN Bloomberg newsroom.
Far side pass, and it's an early shot. He scores!
iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford store, and Eastern Ontario's Ford EV leader.
Second weekend of Winterlude on the way. Time now to check in with our iHeartRadio Weekender, Tanea Taylor. Tanea.
Kicking things off with the Ottawa Black Bears coming up on Saturday. They take on the Calgary Roughnecks. Plus, members of the PWHL will be in attendance as the Black Bears celebrate the female athletes representing Team Canada. If you haven't been to a game yet this season, it is such a fun way to spend your night, whether it's with the family or with your friends. Get your tickets and cheer on your hometown lacrosse team. Next up, Winterlude continues this weekend and runs through February 16th across the city. So much to check out with the family at the official sites, Crystal Garden at Confederation Park, featuring live shows, ice sculptures, and the Lantern Grove, and Snowflake Kingdom at Jacques Cartier Park, featuring snow slides, winter activities, and lots more. Also look for the ice sculptures around the Byward Market. Last on the list today, your Ottawa 67s have a game on Sunday with a 3 p.m. puck drop. They're taking on Owen Sound at the arena at TD Place, and you know it's always so much fun cheering this team on. Definitely never a dull moment. Make sure you get your tickets. Lots more happening this weekend around the capital. For the full list and all the details, check ctvottawa.ca/weekenders. For the iHeartRadio Weekenders, I'm Tanea Taylor. Have a great one.
iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford store, and Eastern Ontario's Ford EV leader.
Another big tech company reported earnings today. Amazon released results after the end of the trading day. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more on that.
Once again, it is the amount of money being spent on building out AI capacity that is eye-popping. Analysts had estimated Amazon would spend about $145 billion this year on things like data centers, chips, and other equipment. But the company says it will be closer to $200 billion. Amazon says it expects strong return on these investments in the long term, but investors still have concerns. Amazon stock started dropping in after-hours trading. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 73.02. West Texas Intermediate down $1.85 to 63.29. Western Canadian Select is up over $1.50 to 49.48. And the TSX sank today, dropping another 576 points. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Well, coming up, for those that miss the days of sending phone messages with a physical keyboard, one company is looking to revamp your texting game with a nod to the past. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Patricia. We have a little bit of snow moving our way Friday evening, but Saturday, the chance of flurries will linger. Temperatures are going to start to drop, though, -15. And then Super Bowl Sunday, yes, it's going to be sunny, but the chilly weather continues. Daytime high will be -16. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, where temperatures much milder this evening, -11, and a wonderful view of downtown Ottawa.
Tomorrow on CTV Your Morning Ottawa, the big game is almost here. We tee up the 60th Super Bowl with our friends from TSN 1200. Wake up the right way with Your Morning Ottawa starting at 6 a.m.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Well, here's what's on CTV tonight. E-Talk, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, Next Level Chef, Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, and back-to-back episodes of The Big Bang Theory. One final look at the forecast heading into a Friday and a cold weekend.
Yes, but we will still have one more day, our Friday, which will be quite mild considering what we'll have for this weekend. Wake up weather -11. There is a chance that we could see some flurries moving through. It is Friday evening, though, that we are going to see more snow moving in, 3 to 5 centimeters, but the daytime high will be -6. We'll likely see about a 10-degree drop for the daytime high for Saturday, -15 degrees the daytime high, chance of flurries lingering. And then Sunday, lots of sunshine in store, but temperatures will still remain quite chilly at -16. Tuesday's looking pretty nice, though. Thursday, I'm really liking that, too. -2, the daytime high, and cloudy skies.
Yeah, getting close to the zero mark there, the farther you look. Maybe. We want to check in and see what our team is working on for tonight. Kimberly Fowler will be on the desk at 11:30.
Patricia, we're actually following developing right news right now for OC Transpo. Along Line 1, we have reports of a broken down train at Blair Station, so service is only operating westbound between St. Laurent and Searville. Riders have to change trains at St. Laurent. Our Chardon Varden is on the scene. And we'll also take a look at a new study that finds Ontario residents' rates of psychosis are increasing amongst young people. And one of the reasons behind it could be that the age of birth parents Well, that's also on the rise. And you can get the news anytime, anywhere at ctvnewsottawa.ca. And join me tonight for CTV News at 11:30.
All right, good stuff. Thank you. Finally, for us tonight, do you ever miss sending texts on your BlackBerry?
Yes.
Well, some former BlackBerry employees are bringing back the idea of a physical smartphone keyboard. So they have dubbed the new phone the Communicator. And while it does have a built-in keyboard, its design is tailored more toward messaging and responsiveness rather than content and entertainment, which lead to more distractions. So this could be good. Just focus on your texts. The phone will be available later this year. I still have a friend who has a BlackBerry, swears by that keyboard.
They're actively using the BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Wow.
I miss
Double
that physical
thumb.
keyboard, let me tell you.
Yeah.
There's something about the clicking that's so satisfying when you're sending a message.
Yes.
I miss it.
Reporters at the rink back in the day used to write their whole stories on a BlackBerry, right? Yeah, now it's, I don't know. The iPhone's different. I tend to be one thumb on there.
Well, I also miss, like, with the iPhone, the actual button.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like textile things, I guess.
We're going back to the old school
I
days.
know.
How about
Come
that?
on.
Dating ourselves. You guys along with me. I like that. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks so much for being here.